I'm making this video to show you how I'm replacing the Earpads on my Definitive Technology Symphony 1 headphones. These headphones were pretty expensive MSRP, I think around $300 or $400, although as they got discontinued, they were marked down to around $100. I think I paid around $200 for this pair. And they're well-reviewed, high-fidelity headphones with sound cancellation, Bluetooth, and generally good battery life. I've used them on several cross-country flights and they've lasted the entire trip. So I really like these headphones. However, eventually the Earpads wear out. I've already taken them apart, but I put them back together partially for this video. And you can see it's a vinyl leatherette type padded earpiece. It's got a foam padding inside with a cover. And the problem is that the cover starts to lose its coating and the seam separates on the inside. So you can see here, this is already taken apart, so it's even worse, but it does start to fall apart. Now, I contacted Definitive Technologies customer support, and they do not sell these as replacement Earpads, even though the entire Earpad assembly snaps off. So it shouldn't be that hard to get a replacement part and snap it on, but I guess DefTech just doesn't make them anymore. I went to a website called Brainwaves, and that's Waves is W-A-V-Z audio.com, and I found a variety of replacement Earpads, but I couldn't tell whether one of them might fit this particular model of headphone. So I took a chance and ordered them. And I bought this pair, which was the oval replacement Earpad suitable for many headphones. On their website, they're listed at $16.99. If you go on Amazon, they're a little more, maybe 20 bucks a pair. But I highly recommend buying them on Amazon if you have any expectation that you might have to return them. I found these didn't actually fit, but I'll describe how I made them work. That's what this video is about. But I tried to return them initially, and they told me I had to pay for return shipping to, I think it was China, and that would have cost a lot more than the headphones, or the pad. So I would definitely recommend buying them from Amazon if you want to be able to return them. Anyway, the reason they don't fit perfectly is that when you take apart the original one, what you have to do is pop off this plastic frame, and it's a little more difficult the first time to get it off, but you can pop it off, and they are marked inside. They're molded left and right, so you can remember which one goes where. And then you peel off this pleather covering, and you'll get something like this comes off. It's actually got a inner piece here. That'll come off. And then that'll leave you with this part. And then you can take off, I wound up deciding it was worthwhile to take off the little mesh. It's also got a little plastic shim or spacer. And I have all that off. So now what am I left with is just this plastic frame, and if you get the left and right correct as it's marked, you'll see one side is flat and the other is curved, and it will snap back on. I'm not going to actually engage it, but it snaps on. Now the problem is with these replacement pads, which are kind of generic, they have an inner lip that's supposed to go over the frame of whatever headphones you might happen to have. But in this case, this piece isn't big enough and it's not long enough. So if you were to try and fit it over this, you'd have to try and squeeze it over the frame and then somehow get it to go all the way around this lip, and that's not going to happen. It's just too small. So I was going to give up, and that's why I tried to return it. Actually, I did that backwards. You have to go around like this. But anyway, it just doesn't work. But then I realized, if you're not that worried about how it looks, and actually I think most people wouldn't even notice, you don't need to wrap it around this thing. I thought about cutting off this part, but then I'm worried that it's going to fray and fall apart. I also don't want to remove this inner mesh part, because again, I think the whole thing will probably fall apart. So real simply, this is a regular oval. I don't think it really has a left or a right side, even though one of my sides is a little straighter than the other. But is you can just simply attach it like that. I'll show you how to make it stay. But the idea is that once it's attached, you can just simply click it on and have the headphones fit over your ear just the way they would normally, like that. That should work fine. So what I'm going to do to make it stay put, in addition to obviously clicking the frame back on permanently or semi-permanently, is to get some of this stuff. I love this stuff. It's called Amazing Goop. I'm pretty sure it's the same as shoe goo, and you can get it at the hardware store. It's not cheap. It's probably $9 or $10 for a tube these days. But you can glue almost anything with it if you don't mind having kind of a rubbery bond between the two surfaces. So you can fix your shoes with it. I use it to reattach labels. I can't think of all the different uses for it, but I literally go through a tube of this probably every 3 months because it's so versatile and so useful. It's a real problem solver. And the only thing is it smells really strong, so you want to keep it away from your the air that you're breathing as much as possible. And also, I did find with one surface that it caused the surface to dissolve. That was once in years and years, and I can't remember what that was, but my point is you should try and test it before using it on a new surface. I already tested it on this vinyl and it seemed fine, so I just got a whiff of it, man. What I was going to do is just simply smear it on here and then put the frame over this and just let it dry over the course of several hours. It should be dry in probably 2-3 hours, normal room temperature. And in many applications, I don't think I'm gonna need it here, but if you need to smooth it out, if you wet your fingertip, you can just push on it. It won't stick to your finger, and it will it'll shape and form really nicely. If you don't wet your finger, it'll stick to your fingers, and then I found you can just kind of roll your fingers and it will come off in pills. It takes a while. Also, for a lot of uses, you can remove it when you're done, just sort of by peeling it off. I mean, if you don't need it anymore. So there it is, applied around the perimeter of this. Another good thing about it also is if you get some excess that's sticking out the side, you can just kind of roll it off with your fingers usually. So I'm just going to line it up like this so the oval lines up. Put it like that. And then, I mean, honestly, you could probably use it at this point if you didn't mind the smell. But what I'm going to do, this is the cool leather case that the headphones came in. I'm gonna, well, I was gonna use that as a weight, but I guess I have a soldering station here. Weighs a couple pounds. I'm just gonna leave this here and let it dry. After that, just snap it on, should be good to go. Okay, I didn't let them dry 2 hours. I only let them dry about 15 minutes, but they seem good enough to finish this video. You can see that, you know, it's a little weird. You can see the plastic frame and then you can see the separate pad. But if you didn't know better, you'd probably think that was how it was designed in the first place. And again, if you look inside the pad, you can see it's marked L or R. The marking on this L is right here. Probably can't see it on the video, but the marking's next to the straight side of the oval. And the L side of the headphones here is the one without the buttons on it. So this is L, and you can put it back on. Now I'm actually committing and snapping it on, which is probably stupid since the glue's not dry, but I did it. And again, snap on the other side. Now, if I hadn't been filming this video, this whole process would have taken me maybe a little longer because I didn't have the frames unsnapped previously, but it's a pretty fast operation, not including drying time. I doubt it would take more than half an hour. Now they're on and you can see how they look. They're definitely different from how they originally looked, and I picked blue, which is probably a bad idea. Black would be more original, but you can do different colors from brainwaves. They also have perforated ones and probably leather for all I know. These are, again, this pleather stuff, which is okay for this purpose, I guess. So I'm going to turn them on. And this is the first time I've used these since I started to get annoyed and ordered those new pads. So this is right and left, and you can see how they look on. They're comfortable. I don't feel my ears pressing against the hard surface in here. And this mesh thing seems pretty soft. So I'm excited now. My headphones are finally fixed. I've had them out of service for probably 9 months or so. I also added a little pad up here. I bought this on Amazon a while back. I think it was for maybe Sennheiser headphones, but this really helps with the comfort up top. And I must say, as an alternative to throwing away what was originally a $300 or $400 set of headphones, replacing these cushions for the cost of the cushions and a tube of amazing goop is a really good benefit. Plus, you're not throwing a nice pair of headphones in the landfill, which I think is a real shame if you have to do that. So I'm good to go for my next cross-country flight, and thanks for watching.